Ever get the feeling that corporate takeovers are just like these high-stakes poker games, with companies as chips?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, today's deep dive is going to feel a lot like that. Or in India, the stakes are in the billions, and the players, let's just say, they aren't afraid to play a little dirty.
What's so fascinating about this case is how it really exposes the tension between attracting those big investments, right?
Yeah.
And keeping the playing field fair.
Right.
A listener sent us this Supreme Court judgment on this ArcelorMittal India Pvt Ltd Satish Kumar Gupta and Orr's case.
Okay.
And believe me, it's a wild ride.
Okay, so set the scene for us.
Yeah.
We've got Essar Steel, let's just call them ESOLs for short. They're drowning in debt, like about to go under. Enter these knights in shining armor, ready to swoop in and save the day, or so it seems.
Exactly. So we have ArcelorMittal, a global steel powerhouse, and Numetal, sort of a newer player, but with some serious financial backing.
Okay.
Think of them as two billionaires vying for the same prize.
Right.
But there's a twist. Both of them have some skeletons in their closets.
Oh, here's where it gets juicy.
Right.
India has this thing, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, the IBC.
Right.
And buried in that is Section 29A, which basically says if you want to rescue a company, you better have a clean track record.
Yeah, it's like a bouncer at a very exclusive club.
Okay.
Section 29A is designed to keep out anyone who might be trying to profit from the company's misery, right? Not actually help it. And both ArcelorMittal and Numetal, let's just say they'd been caught trying to sneak in the back door before.
Hold on. Okay, so we've got ESOL on the ropes, these two bidders with these questionable pasts.
Right.
And this law that's designed to keep things clean. Who else is in the ring?
Well, we can't forget about the former owners of ESOL.
Right.
The Ruias.
Okay.
Imagine like a family drama playing out alongside this corporate showdown.
Okay.
You see, Ravi Ruia is one of the former owners. He had a son, Rewant, who was involved with Numetal.
Wait, so it's like a corporate soap opera with like family ties adding fuel to the fire?
Exactly.
Wow.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The court had to figure out, okay, does Rewant's involvement mean that Numetal is ineligible under Section 29A?
Right.
Are they truly independent? Or are they trying to pull strings to get ESOL back under their family's control?
Right, right.
The court really had to like peel back the layers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To see who's really calling the shots.
It sounds like we're dealing with those shell companies you always hear about.
Yes.
With the fake names, the addresses, designed to just like hide who's really in charge.
You got it. It's called piercing the corporate veil.
Right.
Imagine, like a detective looking past the disguise to see the real villain.
Right.
So the court had to kind of unravel this whole web of companies and connections to see if Numetal was truly separate or just a puppet, right?
Right.
For the Ruias. And it wasn't just Numetal.
Right.
They scrutinized ArcelorMittal just as closely.
So both these bidders are sweating it out, wondering if their past is going to cost them the prize.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Oh, this is where the drama really kicks in, right?
The first decision was a bombshell.
Okay.
Both ArcelorMittal and Numetal disqualified, deemed ineligible under Section 29A.
Wow.
Can you imagine the shockwaves in the boardrooms?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So both these titans of industry, these heavy hitters,
Yeah.
they get knocked out in the first round.
First round.
That's got to be a blow, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It sent shockwaves, really, through the Indian business world.
Yeah.
Here you have the Supreme Court, right?
Right. Okay.
Upholding the law, sending this message, like, we're not going to let these powerful players just bend the rules.
Right. But this is where the story takes another turn.
I knew there had to be another twist.
Right.
Don't leave me hanging. What happened?
Well, both ArcelorMittal and Numetal knew they couldn't just walk away.
Right.
Too much was at stake, obviously financially,
Yeah.
but also their reputations, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So they appeal the decision.
Okay.
They take the case to the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, or NCLS, as it's known.
Okay. So a higher court.
Higher court.
New judges, new chance.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
The NCLA heard their arguments, and they came up with a sort of, a compromise, a middle ground.
Okay. All right. Lay it on me. What was the verdict?
They said, look, we hear the concerns about your past dealings, but we also see the potential benefit for ESOL if you guys are involved. So they gave both bidders a lifeline.
Okay.
a chance to redeem themselves.
Redeem themselves? Okay. What did they have to do?
The NCLRT said, if you want to play ball, you need to clear your debts.
Okay.
Basically, both ArcelorMittal and Numetal had to pay off the debts of these related companies that had been flagged, right?
Right.
As NPAs, these non-performing assets that had raised these red flags in the first place.
So it's like a pay-to-play situation.
Yeah, you could say that.
Cough up the cash, and you're back in the running.
It was a controversial decision, for sure.
Right.
Some people argued that it let them off too easy, that they were buying their way back into the game.
Right. And what about Essar all this time? Are they just like on the sidelines, just kind of watching this, waiting to see who their savior is going to be?
Essar and their creditors were definitely watching this very closely.
Yeah.
Remember, they're the ones who ultimately benefit from this whole takeover.
Right, right.
But this is where the Supreme Court steps back in.
Oh, boy.
And things took yet another unexpected turn.
The Supreme Court, again, this is like a legal thriller with like plot twists galore.
I know, right?
What happened next?
The Supreme Court reviewed the NCLAT's decision, and they weren't thrilled.
Okay.
They basically said, hold on, the NCLAT overstepped its bounds.
Okay.
They agreed that ArcelorMittal and Numetal's initial bids were ineligible, and they weren't happy that the NCLAT had essentially bypassed Section 29A's requirements.
So back to square one, all that legal wrangling for nothing?
Not quite.
Oh.
The Supreme Court, in a surprising move, decided to give both bidders one final opportunity.
Oh,
They said, all right, we get that you want to rescue Essar. We understand the NCLT's reasoning.
Okay.
But you have to follow the rules.
Right.
So they gave ArcelorMittal and Numetal one last chance to clear their debts and submit these revised bids.
Okay.
But this time, they had to do it according to the Supreme Court's interpretation of Section 29A.
Wow, a final showdown.
Yeah.
So the pressure's really on now.
Yeah.
Clear their names, resubmit their bids, all under the watchful eye of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Talk about a high-stakes game.
High 60.
Who blinked first? This is it. The final showdown.
It's final showdown.
Did either of them manage to pull it off?
Oh.
Did Essar finally get their rescue?
In a surprising turn,
Okay.
both ArcelorMittal and Numetal managed to clear their dues.
Wow.
They paid off those old debts, they restructured their bids,
Okay.
and they came back to the table with a clean slate.
Talk about a power move.
Right.
Okay, so it's a fair fight now.
It is.
But how do you even choose?
Right.
Between these two giants, who are now, like, both technically eligible.
This is where the real heart of the IBC comes in.
Okay.
And the focus kind of shifts from legal battles to business decisions.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
The Supreme Court, while they clarified the law, they ultimately left the final decision in the hands of Essar's Committee of Creditors.
Okay, so the people who are actually owed the money
Exactly.
got to decide.
They got to decide.
Makes sense. I mean, they have the most skin in the game, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It became a question of who could offer the best deal,
Right.
the most viable plan to revive Essar and, to give those creditors their money back.
Right.
And after much deliberation, they made their choice.
All right. Don't keep me in suspense. Who won the prize? Who became the new captain of the Essar ship?
The winner, after that long and winding road,
Yeah.
was ArcelorMittal.
Wow.
They presented a plan that the creditors believed in, a plan that promised to bring Essar back to,
Its former glory.
back to its former glory, exactly.
Wow, what a story.
From disqualification to redemption.
Yeah.
This case was a roller coaster.
Total roller coaster.
But it's a good reminder, right, that even in this corporate world, it's not always about who has the deepest pockets.
But who plays by the rules and who can convince the people who matter the most?
Precisely.
Wow.
And this case had a profound impact, really, on how these big corporate resolutions happen in India. It showed that the IBC has teeth.
Okay.
That Section 29A is there for a reason, and that even powerful companies, they can't just waltz in and ignore the law.
But it also shows, right, that there is room for flexibility.
Of course.
That the goal is to save companies, to protect creditors, not just to punish past mistakes.
Exactly. It's about striking that delicate balance between upholding the integrity of the system, but also finding practical solutions.
Well, there you have it, listeners.
Yes.
A deep dive into the wild world of corporate takeovers.
Indeed.
Complete with legal drama, high-stakes negotiations.
The best kind.
And a plot you couldn't make up. We've seen how, A single section of law can have these ripple effects
Huge ripple effect.
throughout an entire industry.
It's true.
So next time you hear about a company facing tough times,
Yeah.
remember the story of
Isla.
the battle over Section 29A, and this delicate dance between law and business?
Absolutely.
You might be surprised by the drama unfolding behind the scenes.
It's always there.
Until next time, keep diving deep.